Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told.
Of all the problems which faced the frontier marshal, the matter of cattle stealing or rustling was the most dangerous. It was not a crime confined to hoodlums or fly-by-night cattle spreads. Many of the biggest cattlemen of the day were involved. To Marshal Wyatt Earp, a rustler was a rustler, big or small, and this belief plunged him into the notorious Rep. Cantwell case. Dodge City erupted in bitter words and deadly gunfights.
All the drinks are on me, boys. 2,000 head and a rough trail, but they're all fat and sassy.
Good job. Yeah, break it right up.
Mr. Cantwell?
Oh, howdy, Marshal. Take a chair and I'll buy you the best milk in the house.
Mr. Cantwell, I'd like to see you alone in the back room, if I may.
Oh, some of my boys in trouble? Well, here, I'll bail them out.
No, sir.
I can't wait? No. Well, excuse me, gentlemen.
You are sure a good memory, though. I'll tell you that all three of them. Come on, drink it out.
Well, what have they done?
Mr. Cantwell, I have a warrant for your arrest.
What?
5 members of the Cattlemen's Association have accused you of rustling.
You calling me a rustler?
Well, sir, I caught 2 of your boys just outside of town with warm irons.
Why, you...
Look, I want to do this quietly.
Who named against me? Just name them.
Your lawyer can read the complaint. I want you to walk over to Judge Tobin's office and post your bond.
Me accused of rustling. There's going to be some fighting about this. I'll find out who signed against me.
The boss is in trouble, ma'am.
Mr. Cantwell in trouble?
There's talk that Earp and Shotgun Gibbs jumped one of his wagons outside of Dodge. And there's also talk he's been accused of rustling.
Smiley, that's absurd.
You reckon Mel Danaher here signed a complaint or something?
Mr. Danaher? Oh, he wouldn't do a thing like that. Just because he and Mr. Cantwell have been... Is Mr. Danaher in town?
Well, here at the Dodge House, ma'am.
I'll look into it.
Well, would you do it quick, ma'am? Some of us Bar Q boys are getting a mite edgy.
Here's bail for myself and my men. Now, can I see the names on that complaint?
Please, Judge. Not until he's formally arraigned.
Wyatt really means we want you to cool off, Rep.
Cool off. I'll get the names. I warned you they'd be shooting about this.
There will be shooting. Why can't you ease up on this thing?
5 men signed the complaint, Jim.
Old Rep stole a few mavericks in his day like a lot of other cattlemen I know.
The law says it's a felony, Mr. Mayor.
Sure, but the men accusing him, they've rustled stock same as him.
Well, the Cattlemen's Association had the law passed. Now, if they don't want their members treated the same as hoodlums, then they should have the law repealed.
You want shooting in the streets over this?
I agree with Wyatt. Those ranchers will lynch a little rustler. When the truth hits them, they threaten gunplay. I think the question of who's a cattle thief should be settled in open court.
I can't understand why you did it. You and Rep have been my dearest friends since Dave was killed. Why, Mel?
Because you're going to marry Rep.
He hasn't asked me.
He will.
Not now. Not with this rustling business to contend with. You've put your brand on stray cattle, and so have those men who signed the complaint with you.
Well, it's done now.
Well, you can go to Judge Tobin and withdraw the complaint.
Big-hearted Mel.
You were jealous, and I'm flattered, Mel. But Rep and his boys will go to shooting.
All right, let him. Emily, he's no good. I stopped those sharp tricks years ago, and Rep's kept right on. I ain't much better.
Mel, you've got Rep all wrong. His foreman and his cowhands do the stealing. He's too easy with them.
He sure is.
He sent me some steers after the drought wiped me out last summer, and half of them had doctored brands. Do you think Rep would do a thing like that? He just told his foreman to lend me so many head, and the boys palmed off the Russell steers.
All right. I'll talk to the judge.
Thanks, Mel.
You and the judge are just a-heading for needless trouble there.
How's that, Mr. Gibbs?
Well, there's maybe 50,000 head of cattle driving towards the railroad. I ain't never seen a cow outfit yet that didn't steal a lost dogie or put its own brand on a maverick.
Well, you missed the point.
I reckon I do.
Judge Tobin and I think the law against rustling is too severe. Now, by enforcing it against the big fellas, maybe we can show them all up as hypocrites.
Yeah, and show me up, too.
You're a rustler?
Well, you see, I found Roscoe on the prairie when he was just a colt. He'd been brush branded, but I knowed the hair'd grow out and cover it up.
Why, Mr. Gibbs.
When I got my side of it, too. If I hadn't have found Roscoe, he'd have died in the next blizzard. But, strictly speaking, I'm a rustler.
Mr. Gibbs, your secret is safe with me.
That ain't funny, Wyatt. Rustling's a fighting word. Mayor Kelly's plumb right. You ought to drop that case again, Cantwell.
Now, don't start anything, and don't take any name-calling either. And leave Mel Danaher to me. I have an idea his name is on that complaint.
Have it!
Get down there.
Nick, Lynn, get McCarty. How'd this happen?
Tony Josh Buck about being a rustler.
Mel, Tony Levitt and the Bar Q hand just shot it out. Both hit. Put on your gun belt, Mel. Them Bar Qers are after us.
I was going to drop charges.
Too late now. Shooting's commenced.
Take him on over to the jail. I'm going to see Judge Tobin.
Move along.
You, say you disarmed most of them?
Rep Cantwell, Mel Danaher are still out gunning for each other.
Danaher? He's one of the men that signed the complaint, isn't he?
Yes, sir. And he got the 4 others to sign it, too. They'll be here tonight.
Wyatt, maybe we bit off more than we can chew.
Well, you can't back down now, Judge. I'll try and find Cantwell and Danaher. If we put them in jail for gun toting, their men may quit fighting, I hope.
You hope.
Well, I told you, didn't I? If you'd listened to me, I'd have got to the heart of the shindy.
Hart.
The widow Morrison.
What's she got to do with it?
Rep and Mel have both been courting. Rep won out. So Mel cooked up this stupid rustling complaint. She's over at the Dodge Hotel. You better go over there and talk to her quick. She might be able to stop this quarrel. But the first thing we got to do is dismiss this case against Rep.
I don't know.
You do that and you'll have your cowhands thinking they can scare the court.
Oh, come off your high horse, Wyatt. This is just plain stubbornness, and you know it.
Mr. Kelly, you want my star again?
Now, gentlemen.
Fine time to talk about turning in your star. Danaher's waiting for his friends, and they'll take Cantwell and the whole town apart.
Well, I'm tucking in my shirt tail. You tuck in yours, Mr. Mayor.
Wyatt thinks I'm just a politician, but I'm trying to use a little common sense.
I know, Jim, I know. I've got to give him a chance to restore law and order.
How long you figure on giving him, Judge?
Not long. Till tomorrow.
Too long, believe me.
I said until tomorrow.
And Mel was going to call it off until some of his men got hurt. He promised me he would.
Mel Danaher started the trouble.
Well, where is he now?
Out on the trail somewhere, looking for more friends to help him make more fight. Yeah, they'll come back with guns, Emily. Well, I told you about Mel and his black Irish temper.
Rep, listen. Please go out to my place and wait there.
I won't run.
It won't be running. With my men and what's left of yours, we can put up an even fight if we have to.
Thanks, honey, but I don't drag you into a fight. I can hire some guns, make it even.
More shooting. No, Rep, please. Yes, who is it?
Marshal Earp, ma'am.
Just a minute. He mustn't find you here. Go through the bedroom and down the fire ladder. Rep, you do as I say.
Oh, all right.
Sorry, I wasn't quite dressed.
That's quite all right, ma'am.
What can I do for you, Marshal?
Oh, I don't know. Mayor Kelly seems to think that you can stop the row between Mr. Cantwell and Mr. Danaher.
I tried to do that. It didn't work.
Oh, what went wrong?
One of Mel's men called one of Rep's men a rustler. Then the guns went off. But the chief trouble is that you and Judge Tobin insist on prosecuting Rep.
Mrs. Morris and I had a veterinarian take a look at the Santa Fe pens. He claims that Mr. Cantwell's herd has been brand tampered.
Well, what herd hasn't? Come down and check my cattle. By your standard, you think I was a rustler, too.
I sure wish you'd have another talk with Mr. Danaher.
He's out on the trail somewhere, waiting for the other hypocrites who signed that complaint.
Would you know where?
No, Mr. Earp. Even if I could find Mel, he wouldn't listen.
Well, I guess I'll just have to try and have a hand at it myself. Sorry to have bothered you.
Sure. You're sorry. You men, Rep out hiring gunfighters, and Mel's coming in with fresh guns.
I didn't pass the rustling law. It's just my job to try and enforce it.
Then why don't you arrest your own chief deputy?
Mr. Gibbs?
Mr. Gibbs. Rep said his mule was hair-branded as a colt. Why don't you ask Mr. Gibbs point blank?
Well, I kind of think it'd be more point blank to try and find Mr. Danaher and arrest him before more shooting starts. But if you want to swear out a complaint against Mr. Gibbs, I'll serve the warrant.
And try to get the evidence?
What do you mean?
Kill the poor animal, skin him, and see if the hair brand shows on the inner side?
I don't think that'd be necessary. If Mr. Gibbs is guilty, I'm sure he'd admit it.
I doubt that very much. But why are we wasting time? All I want now is for you to find Mel and put him where he can't continue this fight.
Well, I'll do my best, ma'am.
We're in trouble.
What went wrong?
Rep and his boys got tetchy. They started shooting.
Well, so can we. Johnny? Yeah? Back to the tavern. Round up a dozen good hands with a gun.
Right. I got a hunch Earp is out looking for me. We better hold up right here till morning.
Mr. Gibbs, you and the day patrol turn in. Things won't pop until daylight. I'll just make camp here in the office, Wyatt. It's only a couple of hours till sunup.
How did Danaher give us the slip?
Well, maybe he didn't want to have a shootout with Cantwell. Still got him charged with rustling, you know.
Rep's lady friend may charge you with stealing Roscoe.
Why, sure. Better get the gallows ready.
I don't like it, Emily.
I know. You'd rather fight it out with guns.
But stealing a mule and threatening to...
All right, then stay here. I've already told Rance what to do. If it doesn't work, you can still have your gunfight with Mel. And if you live, you'll go to jail for rustling.
Emily!
Goodbye, Rep.
Dear Marshal Earp, unless you dismiss charges against Rep by noon today, I will prove your chief deputy is a rustler. I hate to kill an innocent animal, but the lives of men are more important than beasts. Emily Morrison. Emily Morrison.
Roscoe.
Shotgun!
You tell Judge Tobin to postpone Cantwell's hearing. I'm on my way to the Morrison Ranch.
Ain't that Shotgun Gibbs?
It sure is. I wonder where he's heading. It's mighty strange for Earp to send him away from Dodge right now.
Hold it, boss. Who's that yonder?
Well, I'll be. That's Earp himself.
Earp might have sent Shotgun. He wouldn't leave. Hey, Rip, Cantwell up for hearing at 10 o'clock?
No. Rep must have jumped his bail. He skun out on us.
That's the trail to Mrs. Morrison's.
Yeah. Maybe we'll catch him there. Come on.
Oh. Howdy, Mr. Gibbs.
I come from a mule.
He's in the barn. Go get him.
I ain't aiming to kill any of your hounds now. You go get him.
Oh, no.
Too bad, lady. Been a lot of talk in Dodge lately about Brandon. Maybe you ought to be branded.
You wouldn't dare.
I want my mule, and I want him without having to kill any humans. Now, you better go fetch him.
I don't bluff that easy, Mr. Gibbs. I told Marshal Earp what he'd have to do.
Wyatt ain't gonna go along with that. And I ain't bluffing.
Put that down. I'll scream and my men'll...
Hold it. Mr. Gibbs, you're under arrest.
He threatened to burn me with that thing.
What'd you expect? He happens to be mighty fond of that animal. Have your men go get him.
It's Mel Danaher.
Come on.
Where's Cantwell, Earp?
He's in Dodge City waiting for you.
You're a liar.
And you're jailbait. Lift him.
That's far enough.
All right. Throw your guns right out of here, all of you. Come on. You two, come on.
Throw out here.
Am I still under arrest?
Yep. Trespassing on private property, threatening Mrs. Morrison with bodily harm.
Can't even look for Roscoe?
No.
The boss is bringing him.
Roscoe!
Here's your dear friend. I still say Gibbs is a rustler, but I couldn't do what I'd have to prove it. Well, we've won, Mel. The judge will send Rep to prison. I hate you. I hate all of you. And that goes for you double, Mr. Wyatt Earp.
Well, ma'am, I'm kind of used to being hated.
Mrs. Morrison has refused to press charges against Mr. Gibbs. In the case of Mr. Cantwell, charged with cattle rustling, all the complaining witnesses have refused to testify. Mr. Cantwell, however, has agreed to surrender 31 head of doubtfully branded steers. They will be sold for charity. Any comments, Marshal Earp?
Only this, Your Honor. I think the present law against cattle rustling is bad. Under the present law, a small cattle thief is hanged, while the big one becomes a respectable member of the Cattlemen's Association.
I agree with you. Your remarks will be put into the official record. Court's adjourned.
Here. If you're quitting, at least I want Roscoe to have a decent bridle. I think he's a friend of mine.
You ain't got a lick of sense making friends with that lawman. Lucky for you, they ain't got a prison for mutants. That there feller, he'd arrest you for kicking at a fire barrel. Hold on there, Sonny. Be sure you check that gun pronto.
Well, he cleaned up the country, the old Wild West country. He made law and order prevail. And none can deny it, the legend of Wyatt forever will live on the trail.
Oh, Wyatt!